evaluate the expression when x equals 5. So you put 5 in x's spot and do the math, all the while remembering the order of operations. So, number 1, 7 plus 5, because I'm putting 5 in x's spot, that's 12. Number 2, I'm going to put 5 into x's spot. Let me write that down. 5 plus 3. 5 goes in for x minus 2 squared. Now do the math. That's 3. 3 squared is 9. So now you have 5 plus 3 times 9. You can't add 5 plus 3 until first you multiply 3 times 9. Remember, adding and subtracting are last. That's 27. 5 plus 27 equals 32. So the answer to number 2 is 32. 30 divided by x means 30 divided by 5. That's 6. Done. Writing powers. When it asks you to write the power in words and as a product, you have to go 12 to the 5th power. That's words. As a product, that means 12 times 12 times 12 times 12 times 12. Is that 5? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you're writing it out and you're writing it in words. Okay? Let's try another one. X to the 4th in words. X to the 4th power. As a product, x times x times x times x. That's how you do that. Okay, here's 2 different ways to use powers. One of them's in a problem where they have an x. One of them is in a problem where it's all numbers. So let's do them both. Number 1, x squared, you have to put 3/4 in x's spot. So 3/4 squared. Why did I put the parentheses? Because if I just put that 2 up there by the 3 with no parentheses, it looks like it just goes with the 3. Doesn't it go with the whole thing? So that means 3/4 times 3/4. Remember, the 2 tells you how many times to write it down. Then you multiply, so that's 9/16. That's your answer. Now, number 2, they just give you 1/4 and they say, okay, take that to the 2nd power. So 1/4 times 1/4, so that's 1/16. Answer. Okay, grab some paper, try these 3 problems, turn off the video, turn it back on when you're ready for answers. Okay, check your answers, see if you got them all right. Remember, 3 to the 5th means 3 times 3 times 3 times 3 times 3 times 3 5 times, not 3 times 5. If you put 15 for number 2, give yourself a kick in the pants and go, no, I'm not going to make this mistake anymore. Okay, let's try something a little different that uses the same concept. Here's the question. Which expression has the greatest value when x is 10 and y is 0.5? These are all expressions. All of those are expressions, algebraic expressions. So what you're going to do is plug in the 10 for x and the y for 0.5 and figure out which one of them gives you the greatest answer or the biggest number. Work that, turn off the video and turn it back on to see if you got it right. If you put C, you got it right. 10 times 0.5 is 5. Remember, move your decimal over one place. Right there. Let's see, 10 minus 0.5, you have to put 10.0. Decimals have to be lined up. Number C, When you do 10 divided by 5, remember top number into the box, 0.5 out here, over, up. When you divide, you get 20. When you divide 0.5 by 10, you put 0.5 in the box, top number in the box, 10 out here, 10 goes into 0.5, you have to add a 0, 0.05 times. So the answer to this is C. Error analysis. That means something is wrong with this problem. What do you think is wrong with this problem? There's something definitely wrong with this problem. Wrong. It's not right, it's not worked right, or the answer's not right. Where's the mistake? If you said, oh my goodness, they wrote 4s down instead of 5s, you're right. Because this is the base, 5, so that's what gets written down. This is the exponent, 4, that tells you how many times to write it down. So 5 times 5 is 25, times 5 is 125, times 5 more is 625. That is the real answer to this problem. Now let's do some word problems. If you have your book, I'm on page 6. This is number 48. I'm going to read you the problem. The perimeter of a square with a side length of S is given by the expression 4S. So the side length is S, and if you go 4 times S, that's like adding up all the sides. Okay? 4S. What is the perimeter of the square shown? To get that answer, you're going to go 4 times 7.5, because 7.5 is the side length. So let's do that. Let's see. 4 times 7.5. That's 20. That's 30. There's a decimal. Okay. 30.0. Now, if you put that down on your test, what's probably going to happen? I might mark it wrong. Why would I mark it wrong? There's no label. Word problems have labels. So the answer is 30 meters. Remember, perimeter is just measuring the distance around something. So it's just the plain old label, meters. If they ask for area, you'd have meters squared. If they asked for volume, you'd have meters cubed. But perimeter is just meters. Number 49. You can estimate the distance in centimeters that a leopard frog can jump using the expression 13L, where L is the frog's length in centimeters. What distance can a leopard frog jump that is 12.5 centimeters long? To work that, I'm going to put 12.5 in for the length. So 13 times 12.5. Get out your calculator, multiply, you'll find out that's 162.5. That's a beautiful answer. If it's on the test, I'm marking it wrong. Why? It needs centimeters. Centimeters. It's just plain centimeters because it's how far can it jump. It's just one measurement. It's length. Okay? Okay, page 7, number 53. A football team's net score for the regular season is given by the expression A minus B, where A is the total number of points the team scored, and B is the total number of points scored against that team. So A, that's all the points the team themselves scored, and B is the points other teams scored against them. Okay? So, here's a table. This shows the totals for the 2003 conference champions, the New England Patriots and the Carolina Panthers. Which team's net score was greater? Net score is A minus B. So the New New England Patriots had 336 for A, 238 for B. Okay? The Carolina Panthers had 325 for A, 304 for B. Which team's net score was greater? Well, you have to subtract to find out. Subtract to find out. This team, when you subtract, made a net score of 98. If I'm subtracting right, we better check that. 336 minus 238. That's a 1. That's an 8. That's another borrowing. That's a 2, so I've got to borrow. That's a 2. That's 12. 12 plus 3 is 9. Yep, I subtracted right. 98. And the other one has a net score of 21. So obviously, that's lovely. If this was a test question and you wrote 98 and 21, you would still miss it, because what does the question say? Which team's net score was greater? So when you answer, you don't answer with the number, you answer with the team name. Well, the answer to this question is the New England Patriots. New England Patriots. Okay, 1-2, order of operations. You have to follow the order of operations in math all the time. It's not just a one-time rule, it's an all-the-time rule. So, the P stands for parentheses. It also stands for, oh, that's not spelled right, parentheses. It also stands for brackets. That's the ones that look like this, fancy ones. Sometimes there's even a fancier bracket that's kind of squiggly. That works too. It also stands for the fraction bar, that's dividing a bunch of stuff on top from the stuff on the bottom. Okay, the fraction bar acts like parentheses because you can work everything on top and you can work everything on bottom, and you do the fractiony thing last. It's like it's grouping them. So parentheses really means grouping symbols. It's just easier to teach kids parentheses when you start this. Okay, E is for exponents. So after you get your parentheses done, you do the exponents. And by the way, you're not doing the parentheses that multiply. You're just doing the parentheses that have something inside them to work on. Multiply and divide. They are, whoops, there's a weird thing. Multiply and divide are BFF. What does that mean? Best friends forever. Multiply and divide. BFF. So, when you're working the problem and all you have left is multiply and divide, you start over here on the left and you work to the right. So you go 6 divided by 2, that's 3. 3 times 3 is 9, so the answer to that would be 9. You always work it left to right. You don't do multiply first. That's what I don't like about Please Excuse My Dear Aunt Sally, because it implies that multiply comes first. It doesn't. Multiply and divide, BFFs. They go everywhere together, and you start left to right. Add and subtract. I bet you guessed it. They're also BFFs. Same thing. And you don't add and subtract till last. The book loves to go 5 plus, and then put something like 2, and then stick some parentheses here, and guess what you guys do? You go 7 times 3, and you miss it. You can't add until last. First you have to multiply, then add. They're BFFs, they go left to right too. If you get down to 7 minus 4 plus 3, you have to do it in that order. 7 minus 4, that's 3. 3 plus 3, that's 6. That's order of operations. Now, the biggest problem I see with order of operations is you guys want to do it all in your head. Your head can't hold it all. Do it on some paper. Do it, show all the work, and you'll get it right. Okay? So, no parentheses in this problem. Exponents. Yeah, I see an exponent, so I'm going to do it. So, 27 divided by 9, because 3 squared is 9, times 2, times 2 minus 3. Okay? Now, what do I do next? Multiply and divide. And I have to go in order from left to right. 27 divided by 9 is 3. 3 times 2 is 6. 6 minus 3 is 3. Done. Answer. Lovely. Okay, here's the next one. First, parentheses. I have to do the stuff in the parentheses first. And the stuff inside the parentheses has to still follow the order of operations. So it's like you're just looking at this little part and you're still going, please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. So, what's 3 squared? Well, that's 9. That's the first thing you have to do. Everything else stays the same. Next, you're going to add. I know add is last, but we're inside the parentheses. We're, please excusing my dear Aunt Sally, inside the parentheses, and you've already done everything else. So you get to add. So that means you're going to have 24, maybe, if it'll ever write, 24 minus parentheses, and 9 plus 1 is 10. So there you go. Now, 24 minus 10 is 14. Done. Okay, here's one. It has 2 sets of grouping symbols. It's got parentheses and brackets. When you see 2 sets of grouping symbols and one is inside the other, you start on the one that's inside and work your way out. Here's how you do it. 8 plus 13 is what we're going to do first. 8 plus 13 is 21. Everything else stays the same. Okay? Now, 30 minus 21 is 9. Everything else stays the same. 2 times 9 is 18. That's the answer. Okay, you try these 2 problems. There's something very different about the exponent in these 2. See if you can figure out the difference as you work the problem. Show all the work so you can make sure you're getting it, and turn the video back on to see if you got it right. Okay, here's the answers and the work. I promise if you would slow down and show your work and go step by step, you could get these right. Your brain can't hold it all. On the first one, that exponent, that 2, only goes with the 2 because it's right beside it. Exponents only go with the things that's right beside it. Unless there's a parenthesis. Over here, the parenthesis with the exponent on the outside shows that this exponent goes with the answer of this, with everything here. That's the difference. Most of the time, when you're evaluating, there's order of operations involved. If it says evaluate, you're following the order of operations. You just have an extra step, and that's to substitute the number in first. So, in this one, you're going to do 9 times 4, because everything's 4, over 3 parentheses 4 plus 2, sorry about the terrible 4. Then, remember how I said fraction bars are like grouping symbols? So you can do the whole top, get that answer, and do the whole bottom. They're like 2 separate things. One's on top, one's on bottom. Okay? So, the top is 36, and the bottom is, that's 6, that's times 3, so that's 18. Then, after you get one number on top and one on the bottom, look at those and see if it can reduce it all. Well, it just so happens that 36 divided by 18 is 2. So the real correct answer is 2. Anytime your fraction will divide out or reduce to a whole number, that's what you really want, is the whole number. If it wouldn't, you could just reduce it all the way. You don't have to make it proper. But many times it will come to a whole number. Oh, wonderful. I know. Just when you were beginning to feel a little confident, they threw in a fraction. Welcome to high school math. Fractions and decimals are your friends. They might sort of be your frenemies, but really they're your friends. You have a calculator, remember? So, here we go. Order of operations. What happens first? Parentheses. There's not any exponents. 4 squared is 16. 48 divided by 16 plus 3/5. Okay, divide next. Divide and multiply. 48 divided by 16. What's that? 3. 3 plus 3/5. Oh no, I have to get a common denominator. And oh, this is so much trouble. No, you don't. If you had pizzas and there were 3 whole pizzas, and then one pizza was cut into 5 pieces and 2 were gone, and you had 3 left, you would go, oh, I have 3 and 3/5 pizzas left. Stop panicking when it's a fraction. It's not. Alright, you knew it was coming. Try these two. See what you can do. Turn the video back on and see if you're an expert yet. Here's these two. Look at my work. Look at your work. See if you got any mistakes. Find the mistakes. Remember, while you're going through this video or these videos, I think I got YouTube where it can load my whole video. We'll see. While you're going through it, if you find something you don't understand, or you're not sure, or you need to ask about, you need to write that down so you won't forget for Monday. If you find a particular problem, you're clueless about how I did what I did, write it down so we can work it Monday. You guys are doing a good job so far. Okay, evaluating. Remember, with order of operations, here's the problem. 9x plus 4 over 3x plus 1 when x is 7. First, 7 gets to go in the x's spots. So 9 times 7 plus 4 over 3 times 7 plus 1. Then remember, the fraction bar is a grouping symbol. It groups this separate from this. So do the top. 9 times 7 is 63. 63 plus 4 is 67. So the top is 67. Bottom. 3 times 7 is 21. 21 plus 1 is 22. Okay, 67 over 22. Now, you can leave that like that. It's a perfectly good answer. It won't reduce. It won't go to a whole number. If you chose to make it proper, which would be fine also, you would get 3 and 1 over 22. I'll take either answer. This is algebra. I like things improper in algebra. Okay, try this one. When you're done, turn the video back on. Check to see if your work and your answer are like mine. Okay, check this one out. See how your work was. See how your answer was. One thing I want to point out here has to do with the negative sign. This negative sign can go on the top, on the bottom, or out in front. The book would usually write negative, whoops, that's not writing yet. The book would usually write negative sign 1/2 on the whole thing. When I did this answer, my negative sign came out in the top. That's fine. Sometimes the negative sign comes out in the bottom. But all 3 of those things are equal. They only have 1 negative sign. If they had 2 negative signs, the negative signs would divide out and it would become a positive. So it doesn't really matter where your negative sign is on a fraction as long as you have it. Well, that's 1-1 and 1-2. I'm getting tired. I need a break. You're probably getting tired. You probably need a break. And so, also my tablet's got to get plugged in and charged. So I'm going to get this video uploaded, and then I'll start another one just because it's already long, and too much at one time is probably not good for any of us. So, after I get rejuvenated, I'll start on 1-3. See you in a little while. Hope you're having a lovely Friday night. Hope the boys are winning. Go Eagles!